Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time that you're on my channel, please allow for me to introduce myself to you. My name is Vanessa Somuayina. I am the author of various tarot and oracle decks. I've created close to 600 tarot card readings. That is why you guys also know me as the Unicorn Mom, because I am always here to give you healing vibes, guide you through challenging times, and support you in all of your endeavors. You guys, today's pick a card reading is meant to be very fun and helpful because in this yes or no tarot reading, you may ask any question that you can think of to which you would like a clear and concise yes or no answer. And so today I have got these 4 groups for you to choose from. Each group comes with its own individual letters and crystals to make it easier for you to choose the right group for you. Group number 1 corresponds to the Amazonite crystal as well as the letters A and R. Group number 2 corresponds to the Aqua aura point as well as the letters N and S. Group number 3 corresponds to the rose quartz crystal sphere as well as the letters I and V. And group number 4 corresponds to the amber as well as the letters O and L. As per usual, the timestamps can be found down below in the description box as well as pinned to the top of the comment section. Now, if you struggle to make up your mind about which group is best for you, I've got my bag of charms right here, and I will be adding some charms intuitively to each group to help make this process easier for you. So for group 1, we've got this gorgeous dog bowl charm, as well as this kitty and an airplane. So I will add these charms to group number 1. All right, let's see what charms we've got for group 2. We've got this rocking horse. Then we also have this ballerina charm. And last but not least, a turtle. As we did with group 1, I will add these charms to your card on group number 2. All right, group 3, let's see what charms that your guides have in store for you. First up, we've got an owl for you. Next, we've got a key. And last but not least, it looks as though we've got a tea kettle or a teapot. As I did with the first 2 groups, I will also add your charms to your card, group number 3. And last but absolutely not least, let's move on to group 4 and see what charms that we intuitively receive. We've got a flower for group number 4. Then we've got an octopus. And last but not least, a violin. Let me just turn that around for you. Here we go, group number 4. These are your charms, which I will, of course, also add to your card. All right, my gorgeous groups, letters, charms, and crystals. I will now give you a little moment of privacy to meditate on the 4 groups. So feel free to pause the video right here if you need a little more time to make up your mind. And then I'll be right back to guide you into your yes or no tarot readings. All right, my gorgeous souls, so I'm going to be getting into your readings with group number 1, but rest assured that the timestamps for all other groups are provided below in the description box. So simply click your timestamp and you will be fast forwarded to the relevant portion of this video. And for all of my souls of group 1, let's get into your reading. Hello, all of my lovely souls of group 1. You chose the Amazonite crystal in connectivity to the letters AR, the kitten, the dog bowl, as well as the airplane charm. So let's get straight into your reading. The Amazonite is a very calming, cooling stone. So if you identify as a fire sign, meaning an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or you are just overall a very fiery, passionate person that says precisely what they think, then this may be the reason why you intuitively felt drawn to this crystal to help calm you and heal your nervous system. And we've also got the letters A and R within your reading, so if your question has something to do with someone whose letters in their name are A and R, or their initials are A and R, definitely know here that this reading was meant for you. Furthermore, the plane shows that we are going to travel in time and space to figure out what's going on with your situation and whether it's a yes or a no for you. And the kitten as well as the dog shows loyalty and having independence at the same time. So the dog bowl is obviously about loyalty and being loyal to those who feed you or who treat you well. And then the cat is an animal of a certain level of independence. So your decision is going to be made based on loyalty, but also self-preservation. So here, first up, we've got synchronicity for you. Group number 1, synchronicity, shows that there will be some sort of reoccurring symbol or number sequence that will tell you precisely whether to move forward with the venture, to move forward with it being a yes or a no. We are still going to get into what number that is, but I have a strong hunch that it is the number 111. That angel number is definitely already showing up here, as we have 111 in Roman letters on your synchronicity card, and also the letters R and A. I'm not sure if you can see it from the distance. Let me just zoom in for you. These letters have the little number 1 right down here on the bottom right corner of each one of these letters. So definitely know here that your synchronicity is most likely angel number 111. But let's move further into your reading, shall we? So we can unlock whether you should be answering your question with a yes or a no. Let's see what Spirit has to say for you. I keep hearing that this is a very multi-layered, multi-dimensional, it's a complex question that you've got. In the Grumpy Red Fairy, definitely know here that the most important thing with answering with a yes or no is that you remain true to yourself. So if you innately feel that it's time to leave, or it's time to abandon a connection or relationship, know that that gut feeling is most likely right, and it's best for you to listen to how you truly feel, or at least ask yourself why you feel that way and if it can be changed or if things can be mended. If you're dealing with a situation in which you don't feel valued, so therefore it's difficult to know, should you go, should you stay? Be very real with yourself about why this is. Maybe you gave too much too soon. The same goes for a job. If you've made yourself too readily available for a greedy boss or coworkers who just take complete advantage of that, then you need to also take responsibility for how you allowed this situation to be created. And group 1, I hope that you can appreciate my blunt, real honesty, and that I'm speaking to you like a big sis, and I'm not just saying what everyone wants to hear. I want you to have a reading that actually helps you be better and overall helps you to become your highest self, and over time be in situations where you immediately know whether it's a yes or a no for you. So ask yourself also why you're in this situation. Next up, we've got the faceless ghosts and the haunted girl. Know within ghost people, which is what this card stands for, that there are definitely some past loved ones, some ancestors that are watching over you, and they want you to make them proud. So ask yourself what your ancestors, your mom, your mother's mother, her mother's mother, what they all went through, risking their lives in childbirth, trying to just keep everyone going in sickness and health, in tragedy, and in well-being, all of the ups and downs that those who came before you experienced, just for you to have this opportunity to be here. It's important that you honor the fact that simply being alive makes you a winner, my gorgeous souls of group number 1. And there's nothing that should make you feel otherwise about that. Next up, we've got the journey for you. So within the journey, it becomes evident that your yes or no question, it is a journey where you'll go from maybe a yes to a no or a no to a yes. Your opinion is going to change, but I want you to know here that so far what we've got within your reading strongly pushes us towards doing what makes you feel true to yourself more than anything. That's what matters the most. The journey also connects to the number 8, and within the Grumpy Red Fairy, we also have the number 8 again. And in case you didn't know, the number 8 is a very important number in numerology, as it is a number of good fortune. It is a number of mastery. and accomplishment, and also continued luck. So know that your journey is filled with good fortune and luck regardless, but it is important that you stay true to your values and your non-negotiables. Next up, we have got upside down. Upside down shows us that your perspective will change. We already spoke about how you're going to go from a yes to a no, or a no to a yes. No here within upside down, and by the way, upside down connects to the number 29, which is a pretty important number as it is unique in the sense as it is a prime number, which is a natural number greater than 1 that's not a product of two smaller natural numbers. A natural number that is higher than 1 is not prime, it's called a composite number. And I want you to know that here within this prime number that we've got an upside down with 29, this is symbolic of the fact that your opinion is going to change, and it will change once. You will not go from no to yes, yes to no over and over again. You're going to change your mind once and then act on that answer that we're about to receive. Next up, we've got the triple spiral, listening to divine wisdom and joyfully learning life's lessons. Sometimes we need to learn to find joy in life's lessons, even if they're really hard. So if you went through a breakup or are currently going through something like a breakup, you know how hard it is to still maintain your composure and joy in these moments when you just want to cry, when you just want to be sad, or you want the person back. But I want you to know that even in these moments, there is divine wisdom that you can learn, and where you can actually learn to be happy in these moments and see everything as a blessing, because it is really a blessing to not waste your time with someone in your life that doesn't truly value you, that doesn't truly love you, who maybe doesn't even mind seeing you sad or crying. I mean, you don't deserve that, souls of group number 1. And I want you to know here within Uranus, we've got the planet of the unusual and unexpected. So know here that your individuality should be celebrated. It should be one of the main points that draws someone into you, especially romantically speaking, and even in your career. I'll just put this card over here so we have a nice aesthetic setup for you, group 1. So if you feel as though you're not being treated right, and you know that deep down intuitively, like we spoke about in the grumpy red fairy, then there is no need to continue asking yourself whether it's a yes or a no. You simply know the answer. But as I kept hearing, multi-layered, multifaceted, there's more to the story. Know here within enlightening that there is another part to your yes or no that concerns the other person or the other situation involved that you hadn't considered. It could be financial struggles, it could be struggles with themselves spiritually. Know here that your yes or no question isn't so straightforward, because there are a lot of external influences that need to be dealt with and that are affecting your relationships at this point in time, especially the romantic ones. Know here within the star that it is still not an excuse to not be treated properly, or to be ghosted, or to be made to feel as though you're the second choice. The star shows that the silver energy of the star brings good luck and serendipity, but you of course need to see yourself as a star. Have you ever noticed, group number 1, how all of the celebs and starlets and social media influencers and so on, a lot of them are very confident, or at least they seem to be confident in what they post and what they say and what they do, and that is truly part of the recipe to your success and part of the recipe to your answer. Can you be confident in saying yes? Can you be confident in saying no? If, for example, your question has something to do with whether they truly like you or not, if you can't confidently say yes, then it is a no, group number 1. And if you can confidently say, yeah, they do like me, but they don't know how to treat me right, then of course you have another thing where you need to deal with ultimatums or potential ultimatums for that person, or walking away because the painful situation has arisen where you know someone does care about you, but they simply will not be able to fulfill you. And these situations do exist. In Gavura, know here that this is the angel of the left hand. This is the angel of judgment. And I can see here that part of your decision making always comes with this little sliver of judgment that you have for yourself. Judging yourself for the choices that you make is something that you're slowly learning to unlearn. In the meantime, whether you end up going with the yes or the no answer, don't be so hard on yourself, group number one. This is very important for you to make sure that on a spiritual level, you truly unlearn the harshness for yourself, because trust me, once you're living a soft life, once you have undone the harshness that you had towards yourself, you will feel so much lighter. And whether you make the right decision or not, there will never come a time where you feel like whatever it is that you're doing is wrong. You will always find a lot of confidence in your actions. Next up, what angel do we have here? Let me just zoom in for you. We've got Phanuel. So this is the angel of truth. The truth will be revealed for you, all of my gorgeous souls of group number one. Are you ready for our final answer? Are you ready for a very clear yes or no, whether we like the answer or not? I think you are group number one, and I think you already have a gut feeling as to where this is leading. So we've got improving health. You've got to focus on your health, group number one. Don't put it at risk for anything or anyone, because contrary to popular belief, the most valuable asset you have is not a home, not a car, nothing material, no money, no job. It is the ability to make money. It is your health. It is the ability to live, to explore, to experience, to travel, to love, to feel sadness and also feel elation. Know that that is the biggest gift that you have, and that should always be your number one focus. Remember here in If You Believe that when we come to this final stage of your yes or no reading, you have to firmly believe that you're making the right choice. You've got angel number 111 to help you with that. And of course, also my loving support and your guides and angels that I have summoned for this reading. Be forgiving with anyone who has put you in a situation where now you're not as confident as you would maybe like to be, but you're working on it, group number one. Know here within forgiveness that if you feel like your parents even raised you in a way that it's hard for you to put your foot down or to confidently make a decision, and you are riddled with indecision because there are still some moments of growth where you have to conquer this, or you are a chronic people pleaser, so you're always thinking about what everyone else needs rather than just focusing on yourself. Know here within forgiveness that this is a clear sign that you've got to be a little less harsh on your indecision. Meditation will bring you the answers. So group number one, let's do it together right now. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Keep your eyes closed. Think of your question that you had for this reading again. What answer intuitively and first comes to mind? What letters do you first see? Is it yes, Y-E-S, or is it no, N-O? Ask yourself honestly and truly what came to mind first, because that is what your gut is trying to tell you. And as we spoke about earlier within your reading, the most important thing for you to do is to follow your intuition. And sometimes you need to receive a reading, you need to connect with spirit, and then come to a little moment of meditation like we just had with each other now. to get the answers from within, from yourself. Because group one, there's one thing I want you to take along with you from this reading, then that is the certainty that even when you're not sure how to decide, you have the answers deep within. You have every answer that you'll ever need within yourself, and you are now simply learning how to channel those answers. And I feel honored and grateful to help you on this journey and to support you. Now, group number one, this is the reading that I've received for you, and I truly hope that you've enjoyed it and found it insightful, and that you can now rest assured that you've got the right choice before you that you can apply, and be kind to yourself more than anything. Group one, don't forget to leave a little meditation emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you belong to this group and that you're a real one who watched the reading all the way to the end. Know that I'm sending you so much love, so much positivity, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all of my gorgeous souls of group number two. You chose the Aqua Aura Crystal Point, which is this beautiful crystal that has a little bit of this rainbow effect that is created through a heating process where it's actually plated with gold, I believe. This is a man-made effect, but nevertheless it is absolutely gorgeous, and I adore crystals that have these kinds of beautiful holographic looks to them. This angel aura crystal was treated as well to have the angel aura effect. Now, if you feel especially drawn to this crystal, I've got it linked in the description box, so you can check it out there if you want to add it to your collection. It's a little difficult to come by, and I only have very little stock, so don't say I didn't tell you so. Group number two, you guys always get very mad at me for that. So first up, we've got your letters NS. We've got the rocking chair, the ballerina, as well as the turtle. If your yes and no question has to do with someone whose name has an N or an S in it, someone whose initials are N and S, know here that this reading was definitely made for you. If your name has an N and a S in it, we're bringing you back to your childhood. That's what we've got here within this rocking chair. Furthermore, I want you to know here within the turtle, we're going to take this slow and steady. We're going to make sure we get all the information that we need so you can make an informed decision. And in the ballerina, if a lot of people around you or even you used to do ballet as a kid, I want you to know here that you are now going to be called to be disciplined, just like you have to be in ballet, to be real, honest with yourself, to reflect on these messages in order to get your yes or no answer. First up, we've got fog for you. So group two, in fog, it makes complete sense that this card is showing up for you right now because everything is kind of foggy, right? You're looking for clarity and certainty. That's why you're here. That's why you're receiving this reading. And I want you to know here within fog that it's okay, because fog, it clears up. It's not something that lasts forever or that you're unable to ever see through again. Next up, we've got the Virgin's Milk. I want you to know here that you've got this childlike sense of wonderment and innocence to you, and you've got to be really careful with the choices you make in your life, because there are some people out here who are narcissists, who have issues with themselves, and that's not to say they're terrible people. Maybe you even have family members who you would say identify as narcissists. Just moving your charms and your letters and crystal up here to make some more space. So maybe you even love one person that has a issue that they're dealing with, but you know it can be painful, and you know that it can be hard for them to ever see your point of view, and some of them never will, or you have to inflict a lot of pain until they do. And I want you to know here that it is great to be loving, to be outgoing and kind, but know here that you are also a very soft, gentle, and compassionate person, and people need to earn that openness and that compassion. Don't just give it away immediately. Know here within separation that it's very important for you for them to pass the test. I keep hearing that from your guides in spirit. Pass the test, pass the test, pass the test. That's a message I keep getting for you to weed out people with whom you're even going to spend time with, and people who are immediately a no, immediately a red flag. Whether your yes or no question is about signing the dotted line for a new home or for a job, an apartment, whether your yes or no question is about a romantic situation, if you already see the red flags and you can already see that they don't pass the test, then you've got your answer at this point in time. But we'll delve more deeply into your reading, group number 2, just so we can receive more clarity. After all, we've got the mission of clearing up this fog for you. So we've got the Six of Pentacles. One thing I immediately see in you, group 2, is that you're a very giving, generous person. You're someone that people come to for advice, time, money, and love. And because you find it hard to say no, it can be that you get taken advantage of or have been taken advantage of a lot in life. And I want you to know here in the Six of Pentacles that this is not something you should ever regret. Know that this is symbolic of the fact that you will always have resources because you've got the knowledge on how to acquire those resources. And the people who just take, let's call them takers, who don't know when to stop, they have way bigger issues than being generous because they struggle to even acquire what they're begging you for or asking you for. So the Six of Pentacles is really a card about having or not having, and you will always have. That's first of all something we got to make clear for you, group number 2, especially if your yes or no question is about letting go. Don't base your question over whether you think you will ever find love again or find someone again. Don't base it off emotions of feeling scarcity financially, okay? You will make the money back. There are countless people out here in the world who would be entirely grateful to even be around you, to even breathe the same air as you do. So let's base our yes or no answer on what's truly best in this situation, not on a mindset of fear or scarcity. Now, the Nine of Pentacles further confirms this. Don't you just love how shiny these Dark Heart Tarot cards are? I mean, this is honestly my favorite deck I've published to date, group number 2, and I hope you can see why. So the Nine of Pentacles here shows that you will always be in a better position than a lot of your peers, which, as we've got here in this little raven, some people will always try to nick a little something from you. And as long as it's proportional, it's okay. You can help out a family member, you can help out a friend. If you, for example, have 50 million in a bank account, if you're missing $50, it's not really going to hurt you. You're not going to notice it as much. But of course, if you've got $50 and you're missing 5, that's 10%. That's kind of a lot, group number 2. So definitely know here in the Nine of Pentacles that you will always be a giver. You will always be the kind of person who is there for others, but you have to learn when to say no proportional to how much you can give. The same goes for your time and energy. If you are feeling burnt out, tired, like you just cannot anymore, then you have to say no ahead of time. Not no basing it off of how much energy other people expect you to have, but to be able to say no based on how much energy you actually have. Now, next up in the Ten of Blades, know here, your yes or no answer has a lot to do with what you see in your dreams. The Ten of Blades shows here that if you have seen in your dreams that the answer is yes or no, that is like the final say. You don't need to look any further, group number 2. You've got your answers there. And if you forget your dreams frequently or you haven't received the answer yet through your dreams, an amazing exercise you can do is to keep a notebook or a piece of paper next to the bed. And when you wake up, write down the things that you dreamt of immediately before you forget them. I want you to know here in the Page of Crystals, as well as the Ten of Blades, that your overthinking is what causes you to be so indecisive, and also procrastination of taking action. Now, the Page of Crystals shows that there are certain things in this scenario that are new to you. So that's why you're struggling to be able to answer this question that you have in your mind with a simple yes or no. And know that it's okay also to not just be generous with other people, but also be generous with yourself. And remind yourself in the Page of Crystals that actually making a decision, you've got to do that, but once you've done it one time, it will be easier for you to do it over and over again, and you will have the strength in you to say either yes or no with conviction without any overthinking about whether your decision was right or wrong. Within REMP, we've got the angel of time. This angel is here to support you, to remind you of the fact that you do have time. This is true. There is nothing rushing you, but also remind yourself that time is an invaluable resource, and it's not a resource that we have infinite amounts of. Time is scarce, time is limited that we have within this reincarnation and in this body, so use it wisely and ask yourself if the things you're procrastinating are really worth chewing up any of your time. In Remiel, we've got the angel of visions. So group 2, just envision now what your life would be like when you quit procrastinating and you make your decisions quickly, rapidly, intuitively, without overthinking. How much more you will get done and how much further you can get with your goals and dreams. Not in a way that you are putting yourself down for not having done it up until this point, but in a way where you're now inspiring yourself. Like, wow, if I become better at decision making, I make my whole life better. Everything becomes more effective and I can be more happy, content, and most of all at peace. When you are overthinking things, when you are procrastinating, what really happens is that a task that sometimes only takes a couple minutes to complete takes up so much of your life, your headspace. It can even make you sick, the worry, the stress, the agony that you haven't done it yet. But still, the procrastinating seems less painful than actually doing the task, right? So just know here that, okay, from your guides, we've got this message that wants to be included, which is self-confidence. Strong self-belief and a sense of worth is what is needed here in order for you to give up the procrastination of decision making. You've done that for long enough, group number 2, and know that even if you feel like you may have an opportunity before you that you don't want to pass up but you have to, or a person, a situationship where you have these visions of what could be, as we have here in the angel Remiel, this vision of what in time could develop with that person. What really counts is the reality of how they make you feel. How do you feel right now? How is the situation affecting you right now? Because after all, a vision is not something that you can actually live off. It's not something that can actually do anything for you right now. It is just speculation. It's just that, a vision. It's not reality. So here in the triple spiral, we've got a message of listening to divine wisdom and joyfully learning life's lessons. Even if you have to let go, even if you have to give a yes or no answer that hurts your heart, you can go through hurt with joy, knowing that you're learning, knowing that you are preserving your self-confidence, your self-belief, your sense of self-worth, and that you are no longer compromising this for an extensive and extended period of time. Next up, we've got the elements for you. I love these little cards. Group number 2, the elements of fire, air, earth, and water combine to create powerful protective boundaries, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. Use all 4 elements in the little spells or little manifestations that you're doing on a daily basis. If you don't have a practice yet, group number 2, I strongly recommend that you start with one. It could be, for example, connecting with water by drinking a lot of water first thing in the morning, then burning a candle or some incense. We are connecting with fire. Grounding your bare feet on the earth. We are connecting with earth. And maybe doing some breathing exercises where you're connecting with the element of air for a well-rounded practice, morning routine, and in order to create powerful protective boundaries, both spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So this will help you for the future. I understand you want your yes or no answer now for this reading, but this is also helping you to get answers more quickly from yourself in the future. Next up, we've got the festival. So the festival creates an energetic blueprint for a fantastic party or event. There is a party or an event that you should not miss out on. So if your answer has to do with making time for a person or a work thing and you will miss out on a fabulous event, go to the event instead. Go to the festival instead. Literally go live your best life, group number 2. Don't stop it for anyone. Take action. That is precisely what you've got to do. It's like your angels and guides are calling you out through me, through this reading. They're telling you to stop with the indecision and to make your yes or no choice, because at the end of the day, even if you feel as though your choice is quote unquote wrong, it is better than inaction. It's better than not taking action whatsoever. Okay, group number 2, we have a clear yes for you. So if you were wondering what your answer is, know here that your guides, your spirits are here to confirm that we've got a yes. There is no more overthinking for you. The final card of your reading revealed precisely what you need to do, group number 2. And I hope you can see how divine and magical this space here is, where Spirit talks to us so directly that your last card reveals all. So group 2, I hope that you found this reading supportive, healing, and insightful. Feel free to let me know below in the comment section by leaving a little turtle emoji below. That way you will let me and others know that you watched group number 2 all the way to the end and that you belong to group number 2. And last but not least, know that I'm sending you so much love and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all of my gorgeous souls of group number 3. Welcome to your yes or no prediction. You chose the rose quartz sphere as well as the letter I and V. Group 3, here are your little charms, and I'm so excited to get into this reading with you. So let's prepare the space, shall we? We've got our charms spread across here. Okay, don't mind me fighting with a little sticky pad under your rose quartz sphere so it doesn't roll away. In case you didn't know, the rose quartz is a crystal of love and friendship. This is a stone that brings you abundance in all areas of life where you are emotionally attached and emotionally affected. You also chose the group with the letters V and I, so the person or thing you are inquiring about where you would like your yes or no answer may actually even have these letters in their name. Maybe these are your initials, but either way, let's get into the reading and see how this all plays together and leads us to your yes or no answer. So first up, we've got the sparks of light. Group number 3, know that this reading is going to give you clarity. It's going to give you a huge spark of light, a huge epiphany where you think to yourself, oh my God, finally, now I know. Now I've shed some light on the situation is what I meant to say. Next up, in touch with your body, know that the best way for you to really feel into a yes or no situation is to be in touch with your body. And for me, personally speaking, I find that I'm very in touch with my body when I'm working out a lot, and also sometimes just fasting for 1 or 2 days or eating minimally just so that my body isn't constantly digesting and constantly working overtime. I find that when I eat a lot and I don't intermittent fast, that overall I just get a lot more fatigued because my body constantly needs to work, and it's very hard to make decisions when you're fatigued. It can be very challenging to know whether you'd like to answer something with a yes or a no. Next up, we've got Know Your Worth. Now, all of my souls of group number 3, in Know Your Worth, understand that your answer should be tightly attached to knowing your worth and understanding that the value that you place on yourself is the value that others place on you as well. You teach others how to value you. So if saying yes means that you're diminishing your self-worth, don't do it, group number 3. And if saying no, for example, also means that you're selling yourself short of what you could really be receiving, whether it be the love, the respect, the funds, even a promotion, for example, then absolutely don't feel pressured into answering in a way that makes you feel small or worthless or worth less, if you get what I'm trying to say, group number 3. Next step in connect with nature. Understand that a huge part of where you can get your answers from is within. And when you're out and about, just taking a walk, a little stroll, or even like what I like to do, a little walking mixed with running. When I'm feeling highly energized, it can be just running. That way you connect with nature and you will find that a lot of things become very clear to you. There will be a lot of sparks of light when you have no distractions, no social media, or hopefully you will kind of put your phone away for that time. You can take it with you to ensure safety, of course, but don't be using it. Don't be on it. Like, I literally forbid myself to use social media when I'm out in the nature. The only thing I'm allowed to do is put on, for example, motivational podcasts and videos, as well as this thing called Blinks, which is just a summary of books that I've wanted to read so that I have something that I'm learning from, that I'm growing with, and that isn't affecting me in a way that's taking me away from the moment, because just being in nature can sometimes also be a little trying. It can be great to learn and walk and be immersed in nature all at once. Here within the number 44 on fire, know that this master number represents manifestations, solid foundations, as well as stability in general. So your answer, whether we end up with a yes or a no, should in the end bring you more stability and more peace of mind. If you find that your answer, whether it be yes or no, just creates more problems, drama, or uncertainty, then that is not the right answer for you to have gone with, group number 3. So definitely understand here that you are the MC, basically you're the master of ceremony, and your choices should reflect your highest good and your well-being. Next up, we've got material. So one thing that I can see in your angel material is that we've got this angel of rain. Now, the element of water represents your emotions, and having rain fall or even crying a lot over something, it is healthy to just let out how you're feeling, let out some of those heavy emotion, but you also need to sometimes be hard on yourself and know when to stop and when to stop procrastinating and simply make the choices that need to be made, group number 3. Next up, we've got Leliel. So within Leliel, we've got the angel of night. A lot of answers come to you during nighttime. You will especially resonate with this if you identify as a night owl, group number 3. And I want you to know that the night doesn't have to be afraid. It doesn't have to make you any less productive or effective than others, or even lazy. Let me explain to you what I mean, group 3. Often there's this stigma that if we're not awake early and we're not early birds, early morning risers, that somehow that is better than being a night owl. I don't know why that is in society, that getting up early is somehow valued differently or put on a bit of a pedestal, whereas some people just work better late into the night rather than getting up early. But it's kind of like this curse for night owls, because you work late all night, you put in so much work and effort and energy, and then the next morning, obviously, you wake up later, because if you need 8 hours of sleep and you go to bed at 2 a.m., obviously, then your wake up time would be around 10 a.m., and you are made to feel somehow guilty, somehow like you're not productive, you're not getting up early enough. Meanwhile, the person who has the advantage of just working better during the day, they may have more motivation to, for example, go to bed at 9 p.m. and then wake up at 5 a.m. with the same 8 hours of sleep, just because it suits their bodily rhythm better. So don't judge yourself or fall into this trap of feeling like one is better than the other. Malkuth, this angel, is the angel of the ground, the kingdom, so to say. And I want you to know here that your own kingdom is what matters the most. You are the emperor of your life, of your decisions, whether you answer the question you've got in mind with a yes or a no. Group number 3, remember here that as long as it's good and healthy for you, as long as it suits you, that's what matters the absolute most. Everyone else's opinion is not as valuable as yours when it comes to making huge decisions about your own life. Next up, we've got the element of fire. Now, this element heralds new life, renewed passion, and positive transformation. Know here that when it comes to your yes or no question, fire has a lot to do with it. So passion, transformation. You want to say yes to things that help you grow and transform, and also just overall bring new life into the picture, and say no to what you already know. So if you're in a situationship, for example, and you want to know whether to continue or not, chances are you've maybe already experienced something similar in the past where you were strung along, or you were in a situationship that didn't amount to anything. You weren't being loved and valued the way you really should have. You know that. So say no to that and say yes to yourself. Here within the 3 rays of light, we've got balancing male and female energies, peace and harmony. It doesn't matter who the people involved in your question identify as, whether they identify as male or female. Know here in the 3 rays of light that in order to find peace and harmony, we've got to balance both. You can't be with someone who is hyper masculine and hyper feminine and refuses to see that both sides are necessary and is just kind of very extremely onto one side. That can be very dangerous and toxic and difficult to deal with. It can border on narcissism. Group number 3. Gee, I can't pronounce anything today. So do you know here that your yes or no answer has a lot to do with how things end up making you feel? If you feel worse if you say no, then say yes, but don't fool yourself. Like, don't give into love bombing from a narcissist, for example, and say yes to them just for the cycle to continue all over again. You guys, I wasn't lying when I said I couldn't speak today. Don't give into, for example, buying something on a credit card or on credit, which you know in the end will just add to depth and just keep you in that cycle for longer, which of course you don't want. So you have to be honest with yourself about things that make you feel good and are good for you in the long term as well, and things that are just kind of instant gratification and instant pleasures that won't really do anything for you in the years or months to come. In the faceless ghosts and the haunted girl, understand that there are some people around you who may give you advice for this yes or no question, and you're being called to be kind of very careful whom you take advice from, because some people will give you advice that low-key they wouldn't even take themselves, because they just want to see you as almost like a little test object and see how it turns out, or see if you'll actually take that advice. So be careful. Look at people, their surroundings, what they have accomplished, and if you want to accomplish something similar, go ahead, listen to their advice. But taking advice from someone whose life you actually don't really envy or really find that inspirational is a little bit of a red flag. Group number 3. Now, in the ghosts of the past, know that the past returns for a time here. So your yes or no question has to do with something where your past is resurfacing. I can see here within the ghosts of the past that it's just going to resurface for a time, not forever. So don't worry if you've got an ex-friend or boyfriend or girlfriend who's reaching out to you and trying to weasel their way back in. You won't have to deal with it for too long. And understand here with the ghosts of the past that saying no to ghosts of the past is the healthiest thing for you to do, because at the end of the day, you've been there, done that, and you've moved on to better things. The Knight of Blades shows vigor, quick forward movement, and you really snatching wigs. Group number 3, really just being that person that overall is a force to be reckoned with, someone who is not to be disrespected. And here within the Nine of Crystals, you have become that way because you're naturally an empath, you're naturally a very intuitive kind of person. And when you are an empath or a giver, you need to learn to protect yourself. You have been hurt many times, and now you've learned your lesson, and you're not going to allow people in so quickly anymore. And I just want to say good on you, group number 3. I am learning that more and more bit by bit, and also learning more and more to set boundaries and to not slip into relationships, for example, where people use the fact that you love them or care for them as leverage to behave badly, and then they justify it in all types of ways. They justify it with what they're going through, with the fact that, you know, it's my fault or whatever. And then the whole thing is like, when you tell them about what you feel or what you're going through, how they made you feel, the fact that what they did was kind of really not cool, they have nothing to say. Or then the best part is they say you're selfish for saying how you feel. That is just so childish and immature. That is a hard no. Listen to your intuition. Group number 3, your guides and your angels want you to listen to your intuition. Yes, we will still focus on a very clear answer for you for your question, but overall, know that that gut feeling is the number one thing for you to live by. There will be a peaceful resolution, regardless of whether someone else doesn't like the decision that you've made, especially if it is a huge life-changing one. Know that nobody is going to judge you too much or dislike you for too long just because you decided the way that you did. We've got a strong yes for you, group number 3. It is clear that the universe just wants to very strongly and forcefully say yes to you with an exclamation mark. That is the answer that you are meant to receive about your question, but of course take into account everything else that we discussed. And after a time of indecision, of stress, of anxiety, of not knowing what to do, which is precisely why you clicked this video, which is why we're here, make sure you focus on recovery. Even now, after watching this video, you know, go hydrate yourself, take those vitamins that you've been forgetting to take, drink some water, make yourself tea. Sit down on the couch, read a book, or take in content that is good for you, healthy for you, that makes you feel inspired rather than makes you compare yourself. And just overall, like, heal yourself bit by bit from any times in which you were stressed and your body was knocked out of balance, or also known as homeostasis, so you can get back to a place of feeling grounded and of being in a place of balance. Now, group number 3, this is the reading that I've received for you, and I truly hope that you enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section by leaving a flame emoji below. That way you can let me and others know that you were here, you received your reading, and you're a real one who made it all the way to the end. Now, group 3, I want you to know that I'm sending you so much love, vibrations of prosperity, as well as good luck, good fortune, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all of my gorgeous babies of the zodiac of group number 4. You chose the amber, the letters O and L, as well as the charms, which represent the octopus, the flower, and the violin. I'm so excited to figure out whether you get to answer the burning question on your mind with a yes or a no. So let's get straight into it. I will first introduce you to the amber, which is, by the way, not actually a crystal. It is a piece of fossilized tree resin, so it is very light as it's not a mineral or a stone. And we also have the letters O and L that are meaningful, which could either be part of the person's or thing's name that are in question. Maybe these letters are part of your name or the place that you live. So first we have the flower, which represents growth, blossoming, blooming. The octopus shows us that you are smarter than you think you are, and within the violin, we've got an exceptional amount of talent. So before we get into your reading, you are already being reminded of how amazing that you are as a person, how unique as well as multifaceted that you are, and to ensure that your choices reflect this. First up, we've got the moon. The moon is symbolic of your intuition, and I want you to know here that your yes or no decision should be based on what intuitively feels right for you, group number 4. Don't feel pressured into making a certain decision because everyone else is doing it or someone tells you that is the best thing to do. It has to feel right in your gut and in your heart. If you've ever made a decision that wasn't based on your intuition and your gut feeling, and you later regretted it and thought to yourself, man, I should have just listened to my heart, that's precisely what we've got here within the moon for you. Next up, know here within the tin that when it comes to unwanted energies, you can simply repel those and reflect those off of you. But this is a skill that you have to learn. So it's not something that comes from one day to the next. Know here that kind of keeping people at arm's length who could potentially be harmful to your psyche is a skill that you get to practice over time until any threats turn to ash and you just have the clear yes or no answers before you. When doubt is eliminated, or shall I say destroyed, I want you to know that what remains is the ash, the remnants of the fact that someone tried to get you off of your path or your course, or just overall you had lost your way for a little bit. And that's okay. Sometimes it's even good to remember those things because it teaches you a valuable lesson for your future. So make sure that you don't judge these experiences and instead take them with you as valuable lessons. All of the times where you didn't go with what your gut said, all of the times where you made a decision not based on your own beliefs and your own values, but based on trying to please others. It will teach you not to repeat that. If you haven't learned the lesson, you would continue to do it, so be happy for it. Next up, we've got Remph. This is the angel of time, and Remph is trying to remind you of the fact that your time is your most valuable resource. We only have limited amounts of time in this earthly body when it comes to this incarnation that we're currently in. And remind yourself of the fact that time is something that is finite. Unlike, for example, opportunities, unlike different ways of doing life, you have to make decisions so that you don't waste your limited time. And it's not to scare you or to make you feel stressed or anxious. It's just to remind you of the fact that making decisions promptly and not letting indecision exist for too long in the end is the healthiest thing that you can do, because just as we have here in Remph, our angel of time, who is here on fire from their decision making and kind of just sitting back and able to relax properly because they don't have a huge task list of procrastinations ahead of them. Know here within Remph that you are definitely being encouraged to do the same for yourself, to not fall into this trap of taking your time to the extent that your to-do list just builds up so much that in the end you've got more anxiety rather than peace and rather than what you actually thought you were doing, which is take your time. Some decisions need to be made quickly and decisively. In Gabriel, we've got your angel of heralds, and I want you to understand that Gabriel shows you the light and the portal to answering this question with yes or no by asking yourself, if your best friend, your mother, or your sister or brother were in this situation, what would you tell them to do? Because you're most likely going to want the best possible outcome for them. So ask yourself if someone you loved were in your shoes. Think of your question that you are looking to answer with either yes or no. Ask yourself, if someone you loved was in this position, would you give them a clear yes or a clear no? I want you to know within Bina, which is the angel of the left eye of knowledge, that simply knowing how you would react for someone whom you love will help you to make the right choice for yourself as well, because you should be included, or at least very close to the top of the list of people that you absolutely love and adore. I would even say being on top is fine. Group number 4, it's nothing to feel ashamed of. And it also kind of depends how you ask the question. Remind yourself that you can pose the same question in different ways. So the yes or no is kind of subjective in different ways. You could, for example, ask the question whether you are loved or whether it isn't true that you are not loved. You answer both of these questions with a yes, you receive the same result. Group number 4, if you know what I mean. So know that how you ask the question also ends up affecting whether we get a yes or a no, but we'll delve more deeply into this and we'll get your answer clearly, group number 4, I assure you of that. Next up, we've got love is in the air. So for group number 4, know here that there are people who truly love and admire you, and this is part of what you should take into consideration when answering your question, and to know that even if you feel like you're making a choice that's going to hurt, like letting go of a relationship that you deep down know isn't good for you or won't lead anywhere, maybe leaving the town or a job that you had high hopes for and you can see isn't going to result in anything in particular. The Murky Waters card shows us that you are just not the person that can stand in a place of uncertainty and not knowing. You need certainty and you deserve certainty. And the people who love you will never judge you for the fact that you wanted to leave a situation, so you at least know where you stand. And it's better to do so sooner rather than later. I mean, you guys know I do personal readings. Sometimes I offer them on my website. And I mean, I have had countless people later in life, okay, I'm talking 40s, 50s, who eventually had to leave their partner because they never knew where they stood. Their partner was not transparent whatsoever. And in that regard, it is super important for you to remind yourself that if the signs are already there, why wait decades until you find the courage to leave? You might as well just leave toxic situations now. And again, that example was just with a relationship. It can also be a work environment where you're pouring so much of your heart and soul into things, and in the end, you're not going to be rewarded at all. It's going to have to turn out with you leaving a situation that isn't meant to be anyways. Here within the triple spiral, listening to divine wisdom and joyfully learning life's lesson is one thing that comes next for you to receive your answer. So not being afraid to learn life's lessons, even if it stings sometimes, because sometimes those lessons that sting the most are actually the ones that we also need the most and prepare us for upcoming challenges like no other. In perseverance, know that the motivation to keep going despite the odds is one thing you've got on your side. While a lot of others would have already given up with the hardship that you have experienced, you are still going, group number 4. And for that, I would like to salute to you. I would like you to give yourself a pat on the back. I would like you to get yourself some ice cream and have a little treat, okay? Remind yourself of the fact that getting to where you are today, it was no joke. It was not easy. It's not something that everyone can just do from one day to the next. And you deserve praise. Like, you definitely should give yourself props where props are due, or even overdue. I see here within the Fairy of the Highlands that it's time for you to be brave with this, group number 4. We're going to give you your yes or no answer shortly. That's what I'm hearing from your guides, but you're going to have to be a little bit brave, and I hope that you can appreciate my straightforwardness and realness within your reading, group number 4, because I know it's always much easier to just hear what you want to hear in pick a card tarot readings. But for me, the most important thing is not just authenticity, but also being honest with you guys and straightforward. Even if the cards are sometimes not always showing you precisely what would be the easiest route, but they're actually showing you learning lessons. But let's see what's coming towards you. We've got the 2 little witches next. These little witches are magical space clearing beings that allow for you to let go of fears you have had in the past. As we spoke about in the Fairy of the Highlands, it is time for you to be brave. There's no more avoiding having to make this choice, and you're going to have to clear your space in the sense of no more being worried about what may happen if you make the wrong choice, or will you end up alone, will you end up jobless, will you end up without friends or family, are you making the right move? I mean, you have to make the choice, and you will only find out a year from now how amazing it was for you to have been decisive and put your best foot forward and not be afraid to make that choice for yourself. That could be, for example, breaking up with a situationship now, and then a year from now you're in a new relationship. You're maybe just in a place where you've gotten engaged, or you're pregnant, you want to get married, whatever your situation may be, and a year from now you think to yourself, this is the best choice that I ever made, leaving someone who doesn't properly love me or love me the way I deserve to be loved, and it couldn't have been a better choice. The same goes for leaving a job that you just cannot stand, or studies that are just not resonating with you the way you thought that they would. Know that a year from now you will have that ultimate confirmation that the choice that you made was right and was in fact the one that was completely meant for you, group number 4. Next up, we've got recovery. So know that within this card, once you make your decision, it's also important to invest in self-care and recovering. It's not easy to go through so much anxiety, stress, overthinking, and procrastination. Procrastination is always put up as this thing that is just your own fault and you're just putting on yourself and doing to yourself. But can we be real? Procrastination is very time consuming, energy consuming. It takes a lot out of you, and it's not easy. It's for the person procrastinating, it's not like la-di-da, I'm happily procrastinating. No, it's agony, it's pain. It is something that is not to be joked about. And I definitely want you to know here within recovery that it is so important after a time of not knowing, of uncertainty, of going back and forth between yes and no, that you calm yourself, treat yourself, and learn how to listen to your gut feeling in a way that decision making doesn't make you so nervous anymore, and you can do so very confidently and comfortably. Know here that within Look for a Sign, a huge part of your answer will always involve looking for a synchronicity or a sign. It could be a sign that is symbolic, such as hearts, like we have here, and love is all around. Maybe you have got a bracelet or a necklace with a heart charm. It could also be, for example, wings, either on butterflies, fairy wings. We also have some crescent moons here, in here. And do we have another crescent moon? Here we have a full moon and a full moon over here as well. So it could also be the symbol of the moon. Either way, know that looking for signs is the best way for you to receive the right answer for yourself. When you're trying to go with what your intuition is telling you rather than each and every time tuning into a reading, sometimes you have to make choices on the spot. So learning how to do so is going to help you immensely. So last but not least, group number 4, we've got no for you. So you are being called to not move forward, to be careful, and to answer your question with a clear no. And I hope that getting to the end of your reading and having this certainty will help you alongside the examples we went through of what's important, and remind yourself that how you pose the question is also very important. But overall, your answer is no, to just be frank, clear, and to the point, group number 4. And either way, whether that is the answer you quote unquote wanted to hear or not, I hope that this reading gave you some clarity, some healing. I hope that this was a safe space for you to, in the end, also do what's best for you, and to learn the fact that sometimes loving yourself, it means that you've got to make choices that at first are unpleasant, but in the long run will allow you to be protected, safe, and sane mentally and physically, and allow you to properly thrive. Now, group number 4, this is the reading that I've received for you, and I hope that you've enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Let me know below in the comment section by leaving a little red heart emoji below. That way you'll let me and others know that you were here, that you received your reading, and that you're a real one who watched all the way until the end. Now, group 4, know that I'm sending you vibrations of abundance as well as good fortune, and I can't wait to catch up with you during one of my upcoming readings.